For the last time, just let this man drink his tea in peace. Equalizer 3 released this past weekend in 2023 and is directed by Antoine Fuqua, who's also directed such films like King Arthur, Shooter, Southpaw, The Equalizer, and The Equalizer 2. And this film, of course, is starring Denzel Washington. He's the star of this entire franchise. And also Dakota Fanning, David Denman, Sonia Amar, and Remo Grone. Robert McCall now finds himself in Sicily, Italy, where he's recently taken out a bunch of gang members who own a winery who are using it to smuggle drugs and things. But within that operation, Robert was severely injured and was taken in by a local doctor who healed him. Well, now that Robert has been walking around this small little city for several weeks, he starts to gain hope that this may be a great resting place to live out the rest of his days. But then all of a sudden, a motorcycle gang comes crashing into town, terrorizing several of the inhabitants. Well, it turns out that motorcycle gang belongs to the head mafia of Sicily, so now Robert takes it among himself to rid this beautiful paradise of this mob so that he can live out peacefully for the rest of his days. And I meant to have this review done yesterday and out yesterday like I normally do every Monday, but you know, it's a holiday weekend, life happens, couldn't get to watching it until late, and then Labor Day happened, and then life things happen, but here I am now. It's Tuesday, we're getting this review out, we're talking about it, just talked about the other Equalizer films too, so I gotta finish out this trilogy, and apparently this film is the final chapter to the Equalizer, at least according to Antoine Fuqua, and that's what all the ads were saying about this film. It's the final chapter. After watching the movie, I don't necessarily believe that. This movie could definitely go on for another 5 or 6 or 10 different films. I guess that could be a little spoiler towards the ending of the movie, but you know, whatever. It's a fun film. I definitely recommend seeing it. And I don't know if there was a better time for these brand new shirts to come in for me to model them for you. If you want, you can look on my shop and get one for yourself, but it's my The One Man t-shirts. The one man who can do the thing to stop the thing to save the thing. And if there is anyone in film that lives by that moniker, it is Robert McCall. Because apparently he is the one man who can just take out an entire mob, something that the CIA and the FBI have been trying to do for decades. He just kind of comes in because he's not owned by any government officials. He can go in and make the hard choices that nobody else can. And Denzel Washington, again, is a total badass. This character just knows the shadows and knows the blueprints of every big-ass building in all of Sicily, and apparently just all in the entire world. He's able to find different hideouts and different passageways through so that he can take out all of the henchmen before he gets to the main bad guy. And I think it's fair to say that Denzel Washington is getting older. He can't do all of the stunts that he did in the first 2 previous Equalizer films, because I don't recall him actually doing any stunts, really, like elaborate stunts. He was kind of just waiting in the darkness and then kind of crept up behind somebody and stabbed them with a fire poker. We didn't get all of like the kung fu martial arts stuff that we saw him, especially in the first Equalizer film. And this one definitely feels like its own chapter in this entire franchise. We have the first 2 that were kind of connected. We had the similar characters to what we were getting between both. Here, really, we don't have any repeat characters other than Denzel Washington himself. And I like that. I like when an entry in a franchise stands on its own. It does, however, take a while to get going, and takes a while to get me fully invested in it. Because the movie starts and he's already completed the operation in the winery, he's taken out everybody, he's getting the keys to something, but we never find out what until like the very end of the film. But we have to go through this entire journey in order to find out, oh, so that's what that whole thing was for. Okay, and I mean to the end. Like the last 5 minutes of the movie, we go, oh, okay. Up until that point, we just see this character rehabilitating himself, and in a way, I do enjoy that. Looking at this old character that really doesn't have any purpose to go on living. He's lost his wife, he's lost his best friend, and he really just lost his home. He doesn't have anything to keep fighting for. But as he's walking around and as he's getting to know all of the people in this small little town, you can tell that the barriers that Robert has been putting up these last 3 films are breaking down, that he is willing to accept generous people and nice people into his life, and he's loving this community, who are very easy to welcome in an outsider. Like, it took 2 weeks, and they're like, you are now one of us. But it's Denzel Washington, so of course, you just welcome him immediately. I would welcome him into my community if he ever stopped by. It's a more personalized film, it's a more character-driven film, and I'm not sure, like, I definitely wasn't expecting it, and I don't think a lot of other people were expecting it going into this movie, so maybe that turned off a couple of people, but if you do kind of sit back, relax, and just go along with this character's rehabilitation storyline, I think you would enjoy this. If you're looking for a lot of the action that we were getting from the first two Equalizer films, you're not gonna get that until a ways. There's a lot of him walking upstairs and then downstairs with a cane, mind you, and then going to a store to buy a fish. Again, him wanting to buy a fish and to learn the stories of the fish. But then he walks back up the stairs, so it's a lot of him walking. It's definitely more of a dramatic piece than an action suspense thriller with an old-timer doing a bunch of cool kung fu action movie style kicks and punches. This is a character study, and I appreciated it. I don't think it's the greatest film of the year by far, but it was definitely a solid time and a more introspective time at the theater. I'm going to give The Equalizer 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, have you seen The Equalizer? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.